Hey, good morning guys, it's Captain Trucker here. If this is your first time, please subscribe. I want to talk a little bit in this video about the anti-Filipino sentiment that seems to be pervading the public relations of this country for many decades, possibly centuries, and in various forms. It's been going on for a long time, and it's kind of interesting. Give me a second, I gotta go get some coffee. Hi, Choo-Choo. Good morning. My friend and his wife, they live over there next door. Alright guys, I'm back. I got my coffee. So, you know, it's like a negative look at the Filipino culture. It's been going on almost forever. Propaganda, stuff like that. Back in World War II, President Roosevelt allowed the Filipinos to fight in the war, and I guess based on that performance, he allowed some of them to become citizens of the United States. I think 10,000 of them. So that was nice. You know, you give people a rifle and they fight and die for you, so I guess you got to let some into the country at that point. But yeah, I mean, in general, it's like, it's not a good outlook, guys, and it's like, you know, I'm pleased to see, like, there's some people online mostly promoting the culture in a good way, but I guess it's kind of frustrating because, like, when we really, like I said, look at the reality of, like, sort of the history and everything, it's this acceptable idea that in general the Western man is more prone to be a victim of the gold-digging Filipino, for instance, okay? And again, I'm skeptical if that's actually true, because, like I said, we look at the history, the abuses, not to mention how money and pornography has infected this culture. I still don't see how, in general, the Western man is going to be the victim, you know? If our whole world bases everything off money, which they do, they consider countries superior simply because they have more money and more dominance. But money and violence, basically. That's one way to look at it, I guess, right? But, and I don't think it's fair to say that we're all victims of the Filipinos, these foreigners that get scammed out here. I think we need to be more responsible about what we get into. And don't get me wrong, there's like foreigners, there's pockets and groups that of course they get scammed, of course they get taken advantage of, especially some of these older retiree guys that don't know what they're getting into, or maybe they have handicaps, or maybe they have like limitations and mental limitations, mental illness. Some of these guys have lived hard lives, they've been through ups and downs, maybe they don't have family anymore, maybe there's no one they can talk to back home, so they go overseas and they basically get you know, unofficially held hostage, so to speak. It's kind of a dramatic way to put it, but yeah, I mean, that does kind of happen. And yeah, those guys are victims on an individual level, for sure. Absolutely. And those are very sad cases, but the world, us people collectively through history, we've created this. We've created this pocket of, you know, scammers, if you will, because of things that have happened. But anyway, I've also wanted to talk a little bit about this video, and I just posted a kind of a little message on that in the community section. I'm glad to see that, like, a lot of the subscribers they seem to be pretty smart people with like a conscience, and like, so I really appreciate you guys and your comments. I always look forward to them. A lot of good people out there watching, so thank you. Because they know where I'm coming from, and they can just probably appreciate the humor of it. But yeah, that whole thing is like, you know, have you guys ever heard like a tourist say that, or an expat, like basically as an excuse for bad behavior? Like when they say, oh, it's part of my culture. Well, it's like, no, it's not. That's kind of BS, right? There's universally acceptable behavior, I think it's fair to say, in most cultures in the world. Like, we're not supposed to steal from the elderly, we're not supposed to beat people up, we're basically not supposed to treat people differently in other parts of the world to go run wild, for instance. I mean, I told the story, like I knew a sailor once. This sailor had been through many parts of the world, many ports, and I think he had like 7 kids by like 5 different wives and maybe 4 different countries. And I wasn't sure. So I kind of asked him, I said, hey, what was your rationale for that? And he goes, oh, go forth and multiply. So he's basically quoting like one verse out of the Old Testament, probably out of context. Go forth and multiply. Oh my God. I don't get it. But I mean, again, it's like sometimes we get things in our head and we kind of run with it and we can create a life around it. So we got to be careful, folks. Go forth and multiply. Okay. Oh, and I want to add, he also said that King Solomon was a happy man. King Solomon in the Old Testament. I'm not sure that King Solomon was happy. I think he was a tragic story of a king, a real king, of many indulgences. I think he had hundreds of wives and hundreds of concubines. And yeah, I'm not sure he was a happy man, but he himself, I think towards his end, to paraphrase, he basically said, you know, the existence was all meaningless. Whoa! Dogs, man. Yeah, he said his existence was all meaningless, basically dust in the wind. So, yeah, guys, it's part of my culture. It's part of my culture. Well, no, it's not. You're just somebody that did what you wanted to do. That's not really part of your culture. And if it is, then, I don't know, maybe they were rude people or something. Like this Australian woman told me that a certain group of men, I'm not going to say what nationality they were, she said they were like really aggressive. And I said, yeah, but you don't, I don't know if that's like all the men there, right? She said it was part of their culture. And I said, no, it was probably just those group of guys were just rude. Oh, but anyway, guys, we got to always clarify things, and you know, we tend to generalize and stuff catches on, right? So that's why we have to be responsible in general as people, the stuff we put out there into the world. Because like you never know what stuff will catch on and then suddenly everybody's saying it, right? That's a problem too. Well guys, that's my speech for the day. I could go on, but I don't really want to say much more, but where am I going here? Yeah, I'm down here by the beach. You guys like this? But I look forward to your comments, guys, and your thoughts on all this kind of stuff. And yeah, so we'll talk to you soon. It's Captain Trucker. Bye-bye.